Hi, it's Ms. Maney, and I am here to show you another free online resource I could use for a music class at home if you are interested. This one is called, oh my gosh, it's called Classics for Kids. It is provided by the Cincinnati Public Radio, also Naxos Music Encyclopedias, and then there's a Charles H. Dater Foundation that sponsors this. So again, it's called Classics for Kids, and we're just going to do a Google search for it and see if it comes up. I believe it's at classicsforkids.com. There it is, the very first thing that came up, classicsforkids.com. So let's go ahead and click on this. There are tons of different resources here. So it's categorized at the top if you want to focus on composers or games, music, resources for parents or for teachers. There's a lesson every week that they provide, so you could go ahead and just listen to it. Turn it up if you want to hear it.
I'm Naomi Nguyen. Welcome to Classics for Kids. Let's start.
It's almost like a little podcast with a music lesson. This one they are talking about Mozart.
You know how when a certain kind of music catches
Let's
on?
Go ahead and pause it. Keep scrolling down. You can see a couple other links of different things to listen to. But if I know my students, I know that they're going to be most interested in the games. So let's go ahead and take a peek at some of these games and figure out how to play them so that way you can do them on your own. We're just going to go in order. We're going to go ahead and start with the learn musical terms. Some of these terms you're going to know already. Some of these terms you are not going to know. We'll start on the beginner level. If you're feeling crazy, go for advanced. Just click it. Ooh, and it'll start. So again, this is on beginner, but if you wanted to switch over to advanced, it would be no problem at all. You just click it. It says a deep male vocal range between tenor and bass. Now, I know the answer, but I'm thinking perhaps if you are one of my students, you don't yet know this, unless you are in choir at the moment. So let's go ahead and just kind of click on some letters and see what gets added. So we know it starts with B, followed by A, no C, no D, ends with an E. So now let's start thinking about some words that we know. If you are in 5th grade, or 6th grade, or 7th grade, or 8th grade and play in band, this is also the name of an instrument that you could potentially play. It's a lower instrument because it's a deep male vocal range, so of course it would be a deep voice on an instrument as well. So it'd be a lower instrument, maybe similar to a tuba. Maybe you're figuring out what it is based on what I clicked. Oops, I'm past the last 2 letters. Here we go. There we go. And we solved it. It's a baritone.
Baritone.
And then it pronounces it for you as well. A deep male voice lower than tenor and higher than bass. Let's go on to the next term. A group of singers who perform together. I would hope that everyone could figure this one out. This is what I teach at Lincoln. So when you are in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, I want to see more of you would join the choir.
Choir.
All right, let's do one more. Brass instrument that looks like a small trumpet. We're going to pretend like I don't know what this is, and I'm just going to click. These are so loud noises, huh? The other teachers must think I'm going crazy. Still loud. One of these days I'm going to get in trouble for being too loud. What was the E? And we missed it. But it never tells you what it is, so you can always go back and try again. So this is that game. This is going to be the musical term game. We're going to go ahead and leave it for now. Let's go check out a couple more. And we're going to go back to games at the top. Games at the top. So now we could play note names. If you are in 4th or 5th grade, you should be able to play this game pretty well. Play note names. But it's been a while. So, of course, we're going to keep it easy. We're going to keep it on treble clef, which is what we have already learned. If you are in 4th or 5th grade, we have already learned treble clef. So this should look most familiar to you. There are other clefs that changes where notes are on the staff, but we'll start with this. So we're trying to spell out a word based on the notes that they show us. So this is a treble clef. It is also known as a G clef. Hopefully that sounds familiar to you. You can almost imagine the letter G right here. And it circles around the G. So that line right here that it circles around, that's going to be our G. So if this line is G, I'm coming all the way over here by our note. This line is G. What comes next? It's not H. Look, it shows you down here. After G, we circle right back over and start with A. So if this line is G, this space is A, which means that this note right here, we're trying to solve would be B. And if this note is B, the space above B would be C, the line above C would be D, and the space above D would be E. And together, BE spells the word bee. And we have accomplished that round. So you can go ahead and keep solving these. If you are interested in the challenge, you could switch to bass clef. We have not talked about this in our music class just yet, but if you are in 5th grade and you are playing in band, if you are a trombone player or a baritone player, you would be reading off of bass clef. So this might be easier for you, or perhaps this would help you learn those notes a little bit better. Let's go ahead and X out. Go on to another game that we could play. Well, there's a nice little lesson down here. If you needed help remembering, it shows the bass clef notes. It also shows alto clef, which is without a doubt, I think, the hardest clef. It's not used very often, except for violas. So, all right, we could do a match the rhythm game. We could do a compose your own music game. There's also an instruments of the orchestra game, explore the composer timeline, as well as explore the composer map. So hopefully they will start adding some more games on here too. Right now there's only 7 games, but they are pretty enjoyable. Again, that's under the games tab here. If you want to learn more about composers, we started learning about composers last spring. Perhaps you want to learn more, you could go here and check out the composers there. There's a great spot for women composers because we don't talk about them very often, because for a long time they had to be secretive about composing music. There's also some choral composers, so if you are into choir and singing, you can find some composers there that might interest you a little bit more. Again, this is for classicsforkids.com, and have fun, play around.